Tell Me About It is brought to you by Don Franklin Auto of Glasgow and Extreme Health Club.
KY Sports TV.
James Brown, 104 The Score, right here on Tell Me About It, Glasgow EPB Channel 6, local channel on the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel, and you can catch the links later on 104thescore.com. What are we talking about today, Trojanette?
Wait a minute, you can also catch it on KY Sports TV.
You are correct, yes. Well, I thought that
Give us some credit, James.
No, I can let you give your own credit.
McDonald's All-American. McDonald's All-American game.
Yes, sir. Do you like that?
I do, but the talent level was way down.
Yeah?
Way down.
I've not watched the McDonald's All-American game in 10 or 11 years. I used to watch it every year. And it kind of got like the NBA All-Star game to me, where it just wasn't actually competitive. And I don't know if it's because so many people knew each other already, and so they weren't really competing against each other. Because, you think back in the day, sort of like the NBA All-Star game, sometimes Shaquille O'Neal might show up at the All-Star game, and you got three dudes who want to wear that young man out. The McDonald's All-American game would be like that. People would read about each other across the country, and then they'd come and try to show each other what was what.
Well, I actually got into some discussions last night regarding first Reed Sheppard, who is Kentucky's Mr. Basketball.
Yep.
And, guys were saying that he's not a McDonald's All-American. And I said, well, first of all, he is a McDonald's All-American because they voted him on the team.
Yes.
They were saying that it was political. And I said, I don't personally know his father, Jeff.
Yeah.
I do know Stacy. I went to college with his aunt, Micah.
Okay.
And I said, I don't think they have the publicity, the political backing to, this is a national game. It's not a state game.
Yeah.
So, that was discounted. The kid's elite.
Yeah.
I think he can play.
The interesting thing about that is, of course, whenever Reed Sheppard a few years ago first came on the scene, I was like, well, of course. I had that same reaction to it. Then I think Barren County played him 2 years ago. Maybe it's 3 years ago now, when he was sophomore year. I mean, he lit him up. And I was talking to Warren Cunningham about it, and he said, no, he's legitimate. He said he can do everything. And I was like, okay. And so that's where, Warren could have said, he could have told me anything, but he wasn't going to lie to me.
Right.
And then I've talked to other people who have played against him or seen him play who I trust know basketball. And they've had the same response.
You don't trust me?
I do trust you.
Okay, I was just making sure.
But, ones that either they coach or they engaged in the game now, so to speak, on a level. And so, they're like, he's legitimate. So, and let me just say this, John Calipari is not going to sign a dude from Kentucky who he plans on just being the 12th man. I don't care who he is, because he doesn't sign anybody like that.
I think Reed will be a 4-year college player. He's definitely not a one and done.
Yeah.
I think he will be your typical, what every coach wants to have, a 4-year college player that's going to contribute and get better every year.
Everybody but Calipari.
Well, he understands now. I think he's starting to understand after this transfer portal that some things are going to have to change. And in that game also, you got Bronny James.
Now, he may be good. I don't know. But you want to talk about people who may be getting a bump because of who their dad is.
Yeah, I really want to talk about that because that's not true.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've not seen him.
Bronny James is probably one of the pure shooters in this whole class.
That's cool.
He can, and I
guess what I'm saying is, so if somebody's going to make that argument about Reed Sheppard getting a McDonald's All-American game, they also need to make that same argument about Bronny James getting that game.
They do.
That's their point.
They do. And I took up for Reed Sheppard, and I'll take up for Bronny James.
Yeah.
I've watched the kid get better every year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6. I think they've got him listed as 6'3", 6'4". I mean, he can jump kind of like his dad. Mm-hmm. He shoots it way better than his dad. Yeah. And he's a lockdown defender.
Yeah.
He can guard. He deserved to be in that game.
Yeah. See, I mean, I guess that's also the thing about like the McDonald's All-American game at this point is I see all the hype stuff or surrounding players, and then they may or may not be in the game. And I think about the ones that I've seen through time, and when I actually saw them play, I was like, well, I'm guessing they look real good against the teams they were playing against in AAU. They're not that good. Their basketball skills aren't that good. They may be a great athlete or something of that nature.
I didn't see any one and dones. I didn't see any kid on that court last night that can go to the draft after their freshman year of college.
Yeah.
Or the G League or whatever it is. And I feel that Mikey Williams is the best player in the country, and he wasn't even on the teams.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing about it is the nature, as I think we've seen in this NCAA tournament, the nature of college basketball is changing. The avenues have opened up for people to go to the G League, go overseas, and just skip that college path. And because of that, those players are making those decisions about what they're going to do next earlier. And meaning they have the McDonald's All-American game actually has no value to them.
None at all. And I just got an alert on my phone on the way in that the NCAA is going to have a meeting today or tomorrow regarding the NIL money.
Yeah.
And it's kind of at the point to where if the NCAA says, okay, we're gonna take this privilege away, I really feel like the Power 5 schools will step in and say, then we're gonna disassociate ourselves with the NCAA.
I don't think they can afford to do that in basketball.
But they can in the other sports, so that would kind of...
Yeah, well, they can, but as we also witnessed, the Big East decided that the football path wasn't so great, and they reformed their conference as a basketball-centric conference, panned out for them. And I think that's a decision that some schools will make regarding how they may congregate together. But on the side of men's college basketball, it doesn't work the same way, and I think that has a different impact. Also, I don't think the NCAA is going to do away with the NIL money. I think they're just trying to find a way to make it
regulate it.
Yeah, cleaner.
Make it cleaner. Okay. And before we're going to take a quick break, but I also want, since I'm a Louisville Cardinal and a Louisville Cardinal fan, I also wanted to throw in Milt Wagner, his son DeJuan, and his grandson DJ were the first 3-generation McDonald All-Americans.
Yeah.
Although DJ's going to Kentucky. Bless his heart.
Betrayer. He's only going to be there a year.
He is. He's only going to be there a year. Just saw him in a video today. He signed with Lexus Exotic of Lexington.
Oh, good.
He's driving a 2023 Rolls Royce, so it must be nice to be 18 years old riding around the Rolls Royce. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will discuss some more spring sports, and we'll also be looking to hear from Coach Murphy from Barren County.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It. Trevin Hayes, KY Sports TV, here with Glasgow Scotty head baseball coach Sam Royse and my counterpartner
James Brown, 104thescore.com. We're going to talk a little baseball with Coach Royse and learn a little bit about the season. 2 weeks in, a week and a half in, played a few games so far. Managed to brave some weather and get some rescheduled games too.
Yeah.
You guys opened the All-A on, Monday? Had to play the game over at Warren East against Todd County Central. And then and I guess next week you guys are going to head to Florida and spend some time down in the Sunshine State. So far this season, how do you think things are going for your team?
Well, they're going okay. I mean, obviously, we haven't played good baseball all the way through. I don't know anybody would expect their team to play really good baseball, but we've hung in there in a couple of ball games, and even the game you saw down at South Warren, we hung in there. We had a chance. We had a chance at the end, and that is one of our main goals. That every day we just want to have a chance to win at the end, and then we'll win some, and some we won't. But we haven't played good. We didn't play good baseball against Elizabethtown from about the third inning on, and we didn't play good baseball, defensive baseball, against Taylor County early in the ball game, and they scored 7, and that kind of takes you out of the game unless you can get something going offensively. And their arms were just a lot more, they were further along than our hitters were. We just couldn't get much going off. We got some base runners via the walk, but we couldn't get anything going there. There was one opportunity. We had the bases loaded, and Easton Jesse was the hitter, and he hit a P-rod right back to the pitcher. I mean, if it goes through, we're going to score a couple of runs, and that can energize a ball club. But Taylor's a very talented team, and just cannot make errors against teams like that. But they didn't knock the fences down. I don't think they only had 3 or 4 hits, honestly. They're a very talented team.
Well, on that front, you guys opened with Central Hardin, which was ranked number 5 at the beginning. You guys won that game. Then you played Taylor, which I think was ranked number 11 in the preseason rankings.
Something.
And I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, I mean, they're a very good team. You've played South Warren, which is usually a pretty good team in the 4th region. You've played Todd County, which at the preseason, I had people tell me they thought they were the team to win the 13th district this year, and I was, of course, like, you mean Todd County? But after I saw them the other night, they've got some quality players.
They certainly do. Historically, not a good high school baseball team. Ran up on a good crew of players down there that were coming through, and Coach Shelton was down there for a couple of years, and he groomed them and got them good arms on the mound, and guys that seemed to like to play. So yeah, they're a formidable opponent. It's not. I've seen Todd County. A couple of years they wouldn't even play in the All-A because they were that down at the baseball team. Didn't even play. But they're a good team, and once again, you have to play solid baseball. That's the object. Whether you're playing a good team or you're playing a bad team, the object is to play good baseball. And you were there. We walked them 9 times. They only had 3 hits. We walked them. They walked. We walked them 9 times. Struck them out 13 times. And they scored 6 runs. And then their pitcher, once again, probably a little further along than what our hitters are. It's baffling sometimes why that is. I really don't have a definite answer, and neither does anybody else can tell you why it is. If that were the case, then Aaron Judge would never make it out. But he does, and it's all relevant. Major leaguers versus major leaguers, high schoolers versus high schoolers. It's all relevant, and so we just try to build their confidence the best we can. But that's a hard job. Right.
Now on Tuesday night, you guys had a 4-2 win over Franklin Simpson in 10 innings. Was that an encouraging outcome for you? At least in the sense that you guys were competitive throughout the game, and Franklin Simpson, young this year, but they're a solid program, got a good coach.
Yes, absolutely. It's a nice to walk away with the win under any circumstance.
Yeah.
That is not the end all be all. Let me say that. But to be able to play the game and at the end have more runs than the other team is nice to do. Don't be mistaken by that. But Franklin is young. They're probably younger than what we are. Now they had a good in quality. Their best guy throwing against us last night, and he's good. He's good. I don't know that he had his very best stuff last night, but we didn't do a whole lot against him. I mean, we didn't, once again, as I've been telling you, we weren't knocking fences down last night. We had some guys that strike the ball. Davey Williams, our right fielder, he hit the ball hard 3 times right at their left fielder, Weston Carroll, he hit a ball extremely hard, pretty much right at their center fielder. And then we had some balls that just found their way through. You know, they just found our way through and got some base runners for us. And we pitched pretty good last night. You know, we pitched it pretty good. They didn't hit us, and we made some plays defensively. We had we turned a weird double play last night. But what the weird double play showed me that we were engaged enough to understand what was happening before us and to get one out and then go to the next bag and get the next. That's encouraging. But I think the fact that people made some better contact last night should be confidence building to them. I don't know that.
Right.
I don't know what's going on in their heads. I know what we'd like for them to be thinking and how we'd like to be approaching it, but I just don't know.
Right. Trent?
Coach Royce, you've been at Glasgow for a couple of years. Now, I've noticed that you're having some of the kids come through that you coach their dads.
Oh, yeah.
In the era of all this travel and AAU baseball, how do you feel the talent level is now compared to when some of these kids' dads played for you?
Oh, that's sort of put me on the spot kind of question, but I think that anybody that's been around baseball for a long time, as I have and others have, James is not as old as I am, but I mean, he's followed sports. That back in the era when let's just keep it Glasgow.
Okay.
When we had 8 little league teams, which is 10 to 12 years old, and we had 7 or 8 what we called pony league teams at the time, which was 13 through 15, and it is no lie, it is no secret that youngsters got outside and played ball, and you just developed instincts by doing that. You just develop those instincts that are so important in baseball, and the reason being they're so important in baseball is nothing is scripted. Nothing happens the way you think. It's like the double play I mentioned last night.
Yeah.
You can't practice that.
Right.
Okay, this is what we're going to do. Second baseman, you're going to misplay a ball, a fly ball, a short fly ball, but there's a runner at second and a runner at third. A runner at second, runner at first. So you're going to misplay this ball, but then you're going to have the presence of mind to pick it up and force the guy running from first to second. And then the guy at second base, we're going to be able to turn around and throw it to a third baseman and tag him out to get a 4, 6, 5 double play.
Right.
On a ball that should have just been an easy out.
Yeah.
And that's nice to see that. But there, at E-Town, we had a play where they got down what you would consider probably a perfect bunt, and we tried to field it right at the line, and we wasn't going to throw him out. We were not going to throw him out, and if we'd have left it, maybe it had gone foul. That's one of those botched bunt plays.
Yeah.
But we don't. We talk about those things, but we don't. Those are things that you just have to have savvy for, have instincts for to play the game, because stuff like that happens. And but I think I appreciate anybody that does youth baseball. That's not an easy task to do. But I don't know. Youngsters don't come ready to play baseball to me or to our program the way that they used to, because of their Sandlot play and their Glasgow Little League play and stuff like that. And even then, we had some Legion ball, and even when Legion left Glasgow and went over and was at Metcalfe County, they had the Mustang program over there. Those youngsters, they love to play the game. They love to play the game a little bit, because that opportunity was there. League play back in the days was competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
And that's the answer that I was really looking for is, I have this discussion with a lot of parents today. And, you've got kids that are 7 and 8 years old that they put on these travel teams. They'll play 100 games in a summer. And those kids are playing those games And I asked the parents, do you really think your kids enjoying playing 100 baseball games in the summer?
What's their answer?
Well, they say yes. But my rebuttal to them is, are you enjoying it more than they are? You know, and I'm not super old. I'm 48, but I remember when we played, you know, we just go to Brian Doyle and play. And we enjoyed playing, but it wasn't pressured for us to play. And then when baseball season came, we were ready to play baseball. But I think now that you know, a lot of these leagues are burning these kids out, and when they get to be freshmen in high school, they don't want to play anymore.
I can't speak intelligently to that, because for some, they do love it. They do love it.
Yeah.
And they go and they go and they go. But I think you're probably right that there are a lot of youngsters that they really don't like it that much. It is a social type of thing to do, to be on the, you know, they have such funny names, you know, the trash pandas. That's a name from a pro team down in Huntsville, Alabama, I think. But say that you're on the trash pandas and you're going to travel 7 or 8 weekends out of the summer. Well, you know, you're with your friends and your parents are with their friends, and you get to swim and you get to eat out and you get to stay in a hotel, and then, you know, you get to play 6 games in 100-degree weather. If you like it, if you love it, then yes, but I just think that, since you asked me the question, it probably instinctively there's more learned through playing in a sand lot, in a pickup game, than might happen anywhere else. I was a decent player, I guess, when I played, but that's sort of what we did. We played in people's backyards, in the streets. Back when I was growing up, you couldn't go to the park and play. They'd run you off.
Yeah.
They'd run you right off.
Yeah.
We tried to slip in up at Weldon on Sundays. They'd get out of here. And that's okay. But we found places to play, and you just develop. And we always tried to play with older players, too. Older kids that wanted to play and knock it around a little bit. And that went for basketball and football as well.
Yep.
Well, Coach Royse.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. We're going to have to take a quick break.
Okay.
We want to thank you for coming on the show with us. Coach Sam Royse, again, the head coach of the Glasgow Scotties baseball team. You know, he probably doesn't agree with me, but a very legendary coach in our area, had some very successful teams, well-respected coach. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree sailing therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Hayes, KY Sports TV, back with James Brown, the James Brown, not the Godfather James Brown, but the James Brown. And we're here with Coach Murphy, head coach for the Barren County Lady Trojan softball team.
Yep, I am the James Brown around here, apparently. That's what people tell me. I don't know what that is, but Coach Murphy might disagree. Coach Murph, you guys had a big win on Tuesday night over Warren East. Got up 6-0. Had to survive a flurry there, I think in the 6th inning from them.
Right.
And then got an insurance run. I think a hit from Riley Reed, got the insurance run. You guys won 7-6.
Right.
Coming into that game, you were undefeated, still undefeated, but I don't think you had played a team that was able to put the kind of pressure on you that they were. Was that a message that you had to your team before that game got started?
Well, you know how it is. District play, doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, or baseball, softball, whatever. Those games are always packed, and with that excitement and that pressure, so to speak, because of the seating purposes. But, you know, we were fortunate enough there to hang some runs on them early and got out in front of them a little bit. And sometimes when you do that in a softball game, you lose a little intensity, and I thought we lost a little bit of that. We lost a little bit of our focus at the plate. And Warren East is a great program, so I knew it wasn't going to be something that was easy. And we had one of those innings where we had one offensively. We had one in the circle and defensively a little bit where we just could not get them out, and they put a lot of pressure on us, put a lot of pressure on our pitcher, and a lot of pressure on our defense. And yeah, there was just two big innings right there in the second for us, and then in the top of the I think it was the top of the fifth maybe or sixth for them, and so we were able to get out of that inning not being down or tied. So we had that momentum, and like you said, we picked up an insurance run there in the bottom half of the inning, which we needed because they came back in the top half of the seventh and scored one, and then we were able to close the door on them there in the bottom or the top half, and so yeah, just a good win against historically a really good program, Warren East, first year in our district, and it doesn't matter who you're playing in a seeded district; those games are really important. So at home, good crowd, good atmosphere. Weather was a little chilly, but always good to be in the win column when it works to district games.
Well, and one thing that's definitely different for you guys this year is the last 3 seasons, basically. Prior to this one, you had Lily Brody, and she pretty much was the only person you had in the circle for a good run there.
That's right.
Now you have Chloe Witcher, who's your starter.
Right.
She's an 8th grader, but then I think you have Gracie Myatt, who came in and closed that game against Warren East.
Right.
It's just a little different there in the circle for you this year.
Well, it is a little different dynamic. Anytime you lose a player like Lily, like you said, that's been with the program for 3 years and been in the circle for 3 years, there's a lot of things that she just takes care of, you know, with that experience in any sport. And so Chloe is a great pitcher, going to be a phenomenal pitcher before she's done at Barren County, but she's got some youth about her. And she's been in some big-time travel ball games. She's played high-level travel ball. But it's just different when it's school ball and it's your team and those fans are there. And so a little adversity was good for us to see how we handled it. And Gracie's just a freshman. She came in there in a big situation. If you think back to the top of the 6th there, I think they had the time run at third base when I put her in there. She got a big strikeout there, then came back in the top of the 7th and gave up a run, but we got that insurance run in the bottom of the 6th, and so I was pleased. Chloe Witcher has been phenomenal for us this year. She's been averaging about 9 to 10 strikeouts a game, and we had talked all year long, you're going to have one of those games. You're going to have a game where it just doesn't go your way. And last night she pitched well enough, but that inning got her a little bit, and it got her shook just a little bit. But you know, it just came from practice, and we've already talked about tomorrow and how that game's behind us, and we got a big district game tomorrow night. So a good thing about being young is you have a short memory, where an older player might hang on to that and dwell on that a little bit. She's ready to go. She's talking Glasgow, and she'll get the nod in the circle tomorrow. But I was pleased with Gracie to come in there, and Abby Elmore's a sophomore pitcher, so we're really young. We went from, like you said, with Lily packing the load for us to sophomore, freshman, 8th grader. So the future is certainly bright, but with that comes a little bit of growing pains sometimes with those young players like that.
I'm sure there's a player Trevent wants to ask you a lot of questions about.
Well, I saw last week she batted 1,000.
Well, it was early. Yeah, it was early.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was early.
I mean,
That'd
I
be
know
Katie
it's your
Murphy, since we
daughter,
didn't-
and
we
you're
didn't know
probably
you
going
were.
to be a little harder.
Right.
But batting 1,000 is batting 1,000.
Well, she offensively as a whole, we were just wearing it out the first week of the season. Katie was seeing the ball really well, and she had a really good first week there, and went into last week as well. And but offensively as a whole, and this is what I say, you know, early in the season, offense is normally slow because you haven't seen a whole lot of live pitching in those type game situations. But our girls work really hard in the off season. Of course, Katie plays basketball, so she had 2 practices before the season started. But you know, hitting is a rhythm type of thing, and so we for the first 2 weeks there, we were just seeing the ball really well and having a lot of success at the plate. And Katie, you know, she leads off for us, so she sets the table and sets the tone for a lot of innings for us. She runs really well. She's smart on the base pass. And so anytime you have that at the top, you're always going to have the opportunity to score a few runs.
Well, Coach, I know James was planning on coming to the game tomorrow against Glasgow.
Sure.
He was planning on covering the game, but you gave me a personal invitation.
There you go.
So in this situation, James, I'm a little more special than you are.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm like
Well,
routine.
I
They
don't
just
even want
see
to
me
hear
all
it.
the
I don't
time.
want to hear it.
James is at every game we play. So I'm going to challenge you to be at as many games as he is. There you go. How about that?
Well, Coach Murphy, I think track and field is going to be my
There you go.
area of
Okay.
what I cover, but I will be at the game tomorrow.
All right.
Will the hot dogs be fresh?
They will. So will the hamburgers. The nacho cheese will be hot, and the Cokes will be cold, and whatever you want.
Now, they won't be as expensive as the state tournament up at Rupp
No,
Arena.
sir. I
Okay.
promise you that.
Well, maybe I will be.
I promise
I
you that.
will be at the game tomorrow.
All right. All
I'll
right.
be there.
I wanted to ask you, you don't have a bunch of seniors, but
Right.
you do have some. I mean, they've been with the program for a number of years.
Right.
How much do you kind of lean on them to set a tone for the program? But you do have a bunch of juniors, so I was curious, like, how much you also engage them in it.
Well, anytime we had 5 seniors that graduated last year, so we were kind of top heavy, and all 5 of those started for us. And so the 2 seniors that we have this year, Mary Shaw, Mary's been a starter for me going on 3 years now, and so she's one of our team captains. Just a very even-keeled kid, doesn't get too up, doesn't get too down, plays the third base spot for us, just solid defensively, and so well respected amongst her teammates. And then Addison Smith. Addison is a slapper with tremendous speed, man. She puts the ball on the ground and she can just fly. Defensively, she does great for us in the outfield. So those 2 girls are obviously leaned heavily on. Addison as far as the captain in the outfield, and then Mary the things that she does on the infield. And then we have 3 juniors that get a lot of stuff. You were witnessed. Riley was 4 for 4 last night, and then Katie Murphy, as we've already talked to about there, and Mia Long is another one of our juniors who plays second base. Mia and Katie have been playing that middle infield spot for a long time together. They have a lot of personality that goes along with that middle infield. So those 5 kids, it's almost like having 5 seniors, because those 3 juniors have been with me in a lot of ball games. I've coached them in middle school softball all the way up here now to high school. So those 5 kids, and then our sophomore class and our freshman class are large, and we start, and then we've got some 8th graders that are on the varsity team too. So we got about 25 girls in the program, and so we just, when you graduate 5 seniors, you don't know what to expect. And, we got a new catcher. Briley Adala is a sophomore. We got a whole new outfield with Katie Elmore and Addison Smith and Riley Reed and Abby Elmore started some out there for us. And, first base, Lizzie Smith, another sophomore. So we're really kind of young, to be honest with you, in some key positions. And so it's a good mix of some veteran upperclassmen and then some young kids too.
All right.
All right. Well, Coach Murphy, we want to thank you for coming by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Again, Trevin Hayes, James Brown, the James Brown. And we want to thank all of our sponsors that's making this show possible. You can watch this live on Glasgow Electric Plant Board Channel 6, the local channel, KY Sports TV, and the KY Sports TV YouTube page as well. And I'll let James tell about where you can watch it on his side.
Yeah, you can catch it on 104thescore.com, and you'll find the link on all our social medias there.
All right. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week.